And welcome back. I hope you've all been doing well. In this video, we're going to cover content creation using Linux. As per most of my how-to guides, I'm going to break this down into chapters for ease of viewer navigation. Also, let me point out that this is a basic, shall I say, entry-level guide for those who are new to Linux or wondering what content creation on Linux is like. And of course, I'm going to showcase that it can be done quite effectively. I do want to point out that this is a how-to guide, but it's also how I make most of my videos for this channel. Of course, I'm always looking to improve my technique and learn about the software used and some of the other features and functions of some of the supporting applications. As with anything, it's an ongoing learning experience, and I'm learning every day. Okay, so let's take a moment to break down the chapters. First, we're going to briefly go over the planning phase. Then we're going to cover the tools needed, downloading the tools, configuring the tools, importing our media, and then we're going to edit that media, and then wrap up the process with a final review of our product. All right, so I thank you all for watching, and I hope you get something out of this. If you do, please leave a like, and if you see an easier way of doing something, please leave it in the comments below, because again, I am learning every day, and if you have something to make my life easier you like to share, I'm all about that. So let's go ahead and jump into chapter 1. Okay, so let's take a look at the planning phase for this production. Typically, my first step is to come up with an idea. In other words, what is this video going to be about? What do I want to say? What point do I want to make? What do I want my audience to get from it? And how does this benefit my audience? For this phase, I like using my Apple products. I'm both an Android and an Apple user. I like both platforms. But I use Apple in this case mainly for the benefits of the ecosystem. I can start a project on my iPhone. It'll update to my iPad automatically and vice versa. All right, so the first thing I'll do is I'll open up either my iPad and I'll go to Impress, and I'll come up with sort of a flow of the video, the intro, the planning, the tools needed. In this case, software download, software configuration. These are the topics we're going to cover in this video. And then I'll list out the software applications that we're going to need, and then some of the peripherals that we're going to use as well. And also, I'll work on my script, which I don't typically stick to very well. I'm working on that. But I'll use the Notes app, an iPhone, and I can just use voice to text and then go in there and edit it and kind of change it to hopefully sound a little better. Now, that's pretty much what I do for my planning. And there are a couple of websites I did want to talk about briefly. You might find useful. And one is remove background. So it's remove.bg/upload. And you can come in here and upload an image. Let's say that you've uploaded a piece of content you want to add to your video. I'm just going to go in here to photos, and let's just grab one random one. You'll bring it in here and it'll remove the background of whatever, typically the main subject. So here we have a cat, and you can see to remove the background. You can download that and then add that to your video. Now on the other web page is, we talk more about this in the editing section of this video. This is background music. This does require a subscription. It's not very much. I think it's like 14 bucks a month. I don't really remember off the top of my head, but you have access to music, sound effects, and some other features. The benefit of this is that you can use this music in the background and not be hit with a copyright strike. So basically, you're paying for the right to use the music in your videos. Very handy, and I use it pretty extensively. You can see I have quite a collection of music already in my chill folder, upbeat, and songs with vocals. You may have heard some of those in previous videos. All right, so that pretty much wraps it up. Pretty straightforward. Most of my videos are fairly simplistic anyway, so not a whole lot of planning really needs to go into them. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of how I do it. And that wraps up this section, so we can go ahead and move on to the next. All right, so now we've completed the planning phase of our project. We're ready to move on. So in this chapter, we're going to list the tools that we're going to need and the installation of those tools that we're going to use to bring our idea to life. Now, your mileage may vary, and there might be some tools out there that I don't use that you need or you want to use. So I just want to offer a quick reminder that this is currently how I'm making my videos, and these are the tools that I use. So these tools are OBS Studio for video and audio capture, Kdenlive for editing, Gimp and Kitra for image manipulation, Screenshot for capturing images, LibraOffice for making thumbnails and slides, and KDE Connect to transfer media files back and forth from your Android, or in my case, my iPhone, to your Linux install. So I'm going to guide you through the installation process of these various tools that we're going to use in this particular video, and I'm going to use a pop virtual machine. in VirtualBox, and this happens to be the same machine that I've used in past videos to show you how to do customizations and other things. I have since renamed it to my Pop! OS Lab, since I seem to be using it for a lot of experimentation. All right, so let's go ahead and start up our virtual machine. We have Pop! OS Lab, so we'll hit start. And here we go. Go ahead and do decryption. And let's go ahead and log in. So as always, the first thing we want to do is go ahead and update, pull up our terminal, make sure we're up to date on everything. So sudo apt update, and then sudo apt upgrade. Put in our password. And it looks like we're good to go. So we'll go ahead and clear this out. All right, so for OBS Studio, I'll go ahead and show you how to do the terminal installs first, and then we'll do the PopShop installs. Or I'll show you how to do the PopShop installs, I should say. So let's do OBS Studio first. So we'll do sudo apt install OBS Studio. And hit yes. We'll let it do its thing. All right, so now we can go ahead and install Kdenlive. So sudo apt install Kdenlive. And then hit yes. Let it do its thing as well. All right, now if that's finished, let's go ahead and install KDE Connect. So sudo apt install KDE-Connect. Whoops, I'm going to type that in wrong. Sudo apt install KDE Connect. It's already the newest version, so sudo apt install KDE Connect, one word, and it's already installed, but you would just simply follow the prompts, just as with the previous software applications to install. Now, if you're running Pop! OS, you should already have LibraOffice installed. It comes pre-installed with your Pop! OS ISO, or your distribution. So when you install Pop! OS, it should already be there. And then for screenshot, we're going to go ahead and open that up in the PopShop. So we're going to close out the terminal. And then we're going to go to applications and then open up your PopShop. And up here at the top, just type in the word screenshot, one word. And scroll down a little bit. It should be somewhere here on the list. Looked right past it. So go ahead and click install on that. Put in our password. And it's been installed. So we'll go ahead and close out the PopShop and let's make sure everything that we have installed is actually there. So go to applications, go to show launcher. Whoops, not the launcher. Sorry about that. We'll go to show applications. And we've got KDE Connect, OBS, screenshot. And where's Kdenlive? There's Kdenlive. Okay. And then for our office, we go down to, oh, here it is. I'm sorry, down below. So LibreImpress is the one I use the most. So we have everything installed. So we can go ahead and close this out and we can shut down the virtual machine. And then I'll see you in the next chapter. We'll go over configurations. All right. So to go over some of the settings I have, and I'll show you how to set up a screen capture with OBS. What I'm using currently right here, and then we'll cover my mic settings, and then we'll move on to the next chapter, which is the importing of the media that we're going to edit, and then the creation of our content. So to real quick here first, depending on what kind of microphone you're using, I'm using the Blue Yeti Nano. You may need to go to your settings up the top, and then go to sound, and then scroll down a little bit to make sure that you have the right microphone detected. You can see here, input device, microphone, Yeti Nano. So, and then you may need to do some experimentation and adjust the volume accordingly and to get the best sound that you're happy with. But let's talk about a couple of other settings up in OBS itself. You come up to the top and you go to settings. In general, you can change it to dark mode or dark theme, which I do. Then go to output, and if you're not streaming, just go ahead and skip down to recording. I'm currently using I'm recording right now, so I can't make any adjustments, but I'm using the high quality medium file size, I should say. For the type of content that I'm making, I think that's satisfactory. I can go 1080p with no problems at all. Recording format is MKV, and I'm using the software encoder X264. For audio, you come in here and make sure you're at 48 kilohertz for your sample rate. Make sure you're on stereo for your channels. Your desktop audio should be default. And for me, desktop audio 2 is disabled. And my mic is, of course, the Yeti Nano, and everything else has been disabled. You may have multiple devices that you need to configure, so you can come in here and make those adjustments accordingly, whatever you need. Then my decay rate is fast, sample peak, and then my monitoring device is on default. So for video, I'm running at 1080p for both my resolution, base resolution, and my output scaled is also 1080p. And I'm running at 60 frames, which is max for this. And there's nothing really in advance to worry about. So it should be good to go. So let's just go ahead and cancel that out. And those are the settings that I use. Again, your settings may vary. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot one. The microphone settings. So let's go in here to filters down at the bottom, and I'm using compressor and extender. The compressor, I'll go ahead and pause. I'll go ahead and stop for a moment, let you take a moment to pause if you want to review what my settings are. And then we'll hop down to the expander. And the same thing, I'll take a brief pause and let you take a look at that. And I'm still tweaking and still playing with this a little bit to get a better sound quality, but this is what I'm running currently. All right, so now let's go ahead and open up Kdenlive. So I put all my content creation tools in a single folder. So right here, so open up Kdenlive. And come up to File and then go to Settings, or I'm sorry, go to Settings, and then go to Configure Kdenlive down at the bottom. And you can come in here and make any adjustments that you want that are best for you. I don't really mess with anything in here at all. I just kind of leave it alone, run it out of the box as it is. So I'm just going to cancel this out. And so that covers our configuration. So not a whole lot there if you're just capturing from your desktop. Now, for those of you out there who want to capture gameplay from your PlayStation, your Xbox, your Switch, or maybe some emulation, depending on, I don't want to go into too much detail on that here because it would take a lot of time. But if this video does well and there's enough interest, I could make another video specifically targeted to how to set up your Elgato. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. All right, so if you have Kdenlive, if you have KDE Connect installed already, go ahead and there's plenty of tutorials out there on how to set it up to communicate with your external device. I don't want to cover that here and now. So we're going to go ahead and just open it up. So we'll go down to our content creation folder, we'll hit KDE Connect and open it up. Then we're going to open up on our other device, whether it be an iPhone or an Android. So do KDE Connect, go ahead and open that up. Then we're going to open up the files that we want to share. Select all of your files. Then hit Add. Now it's going to go through and it's going to transfer all of these files over from your iPhone or your Android device into your Pop! OS downloads directory. Then once that's finished, we'll go ahead and go through them, sort through them, and pick out the ones we want to keep for our content, and then just simply delete the rest. All right, now we're finished transferring over our media. Let's go ahead and close out KDE Connect. Okay, so now we can go into our downloads directory and make sure everything transferred over, and it did. So now we have all of our media here. What I like to do is go through all these different media clips, decide what I want to keep and what I want to discard. And because I'm a bit OCD about my file management, I'll go ahead and go into my videos folder or directory, and I'll create a folder within a folder, and we'll call it captured media. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the recording for a moment while I go through all these and then transfer what I want from here into this folder, captured media, and then I'll delete the rest. So I'll be right back. All right, so all the files have been moved, and I'll show you here real quick. We go to videos, go to content in progress, or captured media, and now here we go. So I went ahead and took the liberty of naming all of those, all that media that I transferred from the iPhone, just so I know what video clip is which. And then I created a separate little folder for all the photographs we're going to use. So to rename a file, just like it would be if you were in Windows, you just right click on the file, go to rename, change the name to whatever you want, and then click on the rename button, and you're done. So now that we have all of our media ready to go, all of our software installed, we can go ahead and open up Kdenlive, and we can start the editing process. We can go ahead and minimize our captured media directory, and then open up Kdenlive, go to applications, go to our create content folder, and then open up Kdenlive. And now we can start dragging and dropping all of our media files into our project bin. So I'm going to put in, I'm just going to drag all these over here and put them in, and see if I can do this in one fell swoop, and I can. And I'm going to click on cancel on this because it's wanting to upgrade the quality of the video, which in my experience slows the video down, or it drops the frame rate pretty low. Okay, so now we have everything ready to go. So let's go ahead and start populating our tracks. And I try to do this chronologically so it's easier to edit out. So the first thing we did was I was trying to pack. So I'm going to grab that clip, pop it down here. And the first thing I want to do is go ahead and get rid of the audio track. So to do that, you just right click on the file or on the track, either the audio or the video track, and then go to ungroup clips, and then select the audio track and then hit delete. Now we can go ahead and scrub through this and decide what we want to keep and what we don't want to keep. I'm going to scroll along my timeline and get to a point that I think is good. Let's see, I think maybe right about here. So I'll click on the razor tool, come down here, and then just click wherever you want the splice to take effect. Then we'll click our pointer, come down here again, and then highlight the portion of the track that you want deleted, and then just hit delete. Now we want to keep this as close to the start of the timeline, to the 00 start point, as much as possible. So you can either drag this over here like so, or you can just right click in here and go remove space. Boom, done. And then we can go ahead and add a fade in on this. So we can go ahead and fade it in just by simply grabbing the little dot in the top corner, either the left side or the right side. This is a fade in. If we were to come over here, it'd be a fade out. Simple enough. Now we need to change this orientation because it is vertical. It was shot with an iPhone. So we'll right click on it, on the file, on the track. And then we'll go ahead and select insert effect, and then click on transform. Then over here on the right hand side, you can see where it says rotation. You can just kind of rotate this around to where we get a good, that's about 90%, negative 90%. Put a 0 in here, and there we go. Now we can also zoom on this a little bit. So we want size. You can blow that up a little bit so it takes up the entire screen. And let's go back to the start and then hit play over here on our project monitor. And I shot this in 4K on the iPhone, so the frames are going to be a little bit laggy. So I probably should have just stuck with regular 1080p. All right, so we have that clip. Now we can add some text here if we want. If you scroll down up here in your project bin and right click in here, you want to go to add title clip. Now we can put in some text. I'm just going to put in here trying to pack. And we'll hit create title. Now you can drag this down to video track number 2, put it wherever you want. So let's put our timeline in place. Now we can right click on this, go to insert effect, and go to transform again. Now over here you'll notice that there's a red outline around our project monitor. And inside there's a small circle with an X in the middle of it. You can click on that, hold it, and then you can move this around to wherever you want to put the text. So let's click on the main project and then scroll back to the very beginning of the clip so far, and then hit play. Just kind of test it out. And so far so good. Maybe a little bit long, but again, this is just for educational purposes and probably won't put this up on the channel. All right, so the first clip is done. So chronologically speaking, let's see here. Do I have any clips? All right, so we can grab to the airport, our little drive towards the airport. And again, we're going to right click on it, go to ungroup clips, and then get rid of the audio track. So do I want to fade this in or just have it cut directly to the next portion? We'll see here in a second. So we don't need much here. Maybe 3 or 4 seconds worth. So we'll cut it right about there. We'll go up to our razor. Click on the razor, come down and then make your cut. Then we'll go ahead and delete that section. So I think we could maybe do a fade out and then have it cut directly into it. Let's see how that looks. All right, so I think that's okay. Maybe want to zoom in on that a little bit. So we'll right click on it, go to insert an effect, transform. Then we can mess with the size a little bit, kind of blow it up. And let's see how that looks. So the preview looks okay so far. I think that looks all right. So we'll pause that and we'll add another title clip. And we'll call it On the Way. Or we'll call it To the Airport. And we'll hit create title. We'll drag this down, pop it somewhere in here. Right click on it, go to insert effect, go to transform. Then we can grab our title clip and then move it around where we want it. Then we'll do a fade out on this as well. So let's go back to the very beginning of our track and hit play and just kind of see how it looks. So this is the first time I've actually tried shooting in 4K on the iPhone and then bringing it over. Usually with my videos, I stick with 1080p because that's what my monitors are rated at. So I don't bother with anything higher than that. But it seems to be a bit sluggish and laggy with the 4K. All right, to the airport. Okay, now we're at the airport. So let's see. We have our walkway clip, so we can bring this down here. And again, we will right click, go to ungroup clips, delete the audio track. Let's move over here. Let's go to insert effect, transform. And let's do a rotation. And -90. Let's go ahead and blow this up. I think that's okay. All right, go back and start from the beginning. Let's see how it looks. And so far so good, other than a little bit of lag. Not lag, but drop frames. Or lower frame rates, I should say. Now we're on the way to the airport. And we'll fade out and go directly into the next clip. Walking down the aisleway. Now let's put in another title clip. We'll call this Boarding the Plane. Hit create title clip and we'll drag this down, pop it in here. We're going to shorten this up. So whenever you want to shorten or lengthen the duration of a title clip, you simply go on either side of the vertical lines, the border, click and hold, and you can drag this as far as you want, or you can extend it for as long as you want it to play, or you can actually shorten it pretty short. So we're going to shorten this down a little bit, move this towards the middle, and I think that looks pretty good. All right, so because this is a very short clip, only like a couple of seconds, I'm not going to bother putting any fade effects in. We're just going to leave it as is. Now we're on the plane, so let's go to takeoff on the inside. We'll drag this down here, and then we're going to go ahead and ungroup the clips, get rid of the audio track. So we need to scrub through this a little bit and keep what we need. All right, so the plane doesn't actually start taking off until right about there. All right, so let's go back. And I think right about here should be good. So we'll click our razor, come down here, and then we'll go ahead and click on the track, separate it, create a splice, and then delete the part we don't want. Drag this over to connect with the rest of the clip, overall clip. And then let's do a fade in on this. So we'll do a fade in. All right, now let's go back and watch from the very beginning. And by the way, you don't have to go back and watch from the very beginning each and every time. I just do it to kind of see how it flows when I'm kind of putting together a project that I didn't plan out. Okay, so far so good. To the airport. And now we're going to be boarding the plane here shortly. And now we're taking off. So we might want to shorten this a little bit. We're at 30. We're at a minute 10 so far overall for the duration of the video. Okay, so this is kind of going on pretty long. So let's go back and let's trim this down a little bit more to right about here, because there's no reason to have all this time here of the plane just simply jetting down the runway. So people get the point, you know. All right, so when do we actually start taking off? Right here. So let's go back a little bit to right about here. So let's go ahead and splice that out. We'll delete this part of the clip, drag this over, put a fade in. And then I think we're ready to add the second part of it. Actually, you know what? Let's add a title clip. We'll put a title clip in here. We'll call it Taking Off. So we'll grab this title clip, we'll pop it down here somewhere, and we'll right click on it, go to Insert an Effect, go to Transform, and let's go ahead and move this right about there. All right, so let's go ahead and play it out the rest of the way. And actually, I think we might be able to trim this a little bit too. So let's go back, scroll back a little bit, right about there. So let's go ahead and just trim that part of it out. And we'll delete this. Okay, so now we're about 55 seconds, give or take. And we have gone through our packing, drove to the airport, boarded the plane. Now we've taken off. So let's go to plane taking off outside. All right, so I got a little video clip of this when I was at the airport waiting for another flight. So we'll go ahead and right click on it and let's ungroup clips. And then down at the bottom, get rid of the audio track. So let's scrub through this real quick. I think I get blocked by a building, and I do. All right, so I think this looks, we clip this right about here. Grab the razor tool, clip it, and then we'll delete the beginning portion of the clip. Let's just right click and go to remove space. Again, there's two options for moving your clips around. So let's see how this looks without any type of fade. It looks pretty good without a fade. All right, so we're up in the air. And now let's add the plane in air.mov. Grab this, bring this down to our track, and then right click, ungroup clips, get rid of the audio. I think we're going to add a fade in on this, so let's do a fade there. Okay, so now let's go back to the very beginning and let's see what we've got. So our packing. And that might be a little bit too long. It's over, what, 15 seconds, I think. And we're going to fade into the drive to the airport. And I didn't get any footage of going through security. I didn't think that would be a wise idea to be filming that, so I just let it be. Boarded the plane. Now we're taking off. Up, up, and away. Maybe we'll move this taking off down a little bit. We can drag this down here just so. And there we go. All right, now we're going to fade into the in-air footage. All right, so let's add a little title clip here. I don't think we need it. Let's see how many seconds is that. That's about maybe 20 seconds. We can trim that down a little bit. Let's just trim it right about here. All right, let's see. I think that's a fairly good duration. So let's add a title clip. We'll call this one Almost There. Almost there. Put this up here, probably here in the middle. And that's actually, the white clouds are going to sort of drown out the lettering. So let's go ahead and right click, go to Insert Effect, Transform. Put this up here, up top so we can see it better. And let's go back to the beginning and check it out. I think that should be enough. As far as the duration goes, I think that should be plenty. Let's move this over just a little bit. And then let's shorten up the fade in. Make a little bit quicker of a transition. Now let's try it again. Okay, so I think I'm going to trim this up a little bit more. Grab our razor, come down here, and right about there, let's get rid of that last second or two. I think that's about perfect. All right, so now we are about to land. So let's so I'm going to pause the video for a second because I think I forgot to transfer over the video clips I took with the iPhone as far as our landing goes. So I'll be right back. Let me pause this for a second. All right, I'm back, and I did forget to transfer over the landing video, so I'm going to go ahead and drag this over to our project bin and then minimize our project directory. Now we can grab the landing clip and drag it down here. This is over a minute long, so we're going to do quite a bit of scrubbing on this. So it's just kind of, first thing we need to do is go ahead and get rid of the audio track. So we'll ungroup the clips. And by the way, if you want to regroup the clips again, or group any clips, you can go ahead and select the clip you want to group. And then click on, let's say, hypothetically, we want to group all these. Then right click on it, then hit group clips. Now they're all grouped together so you can move them around as needed. We're going to ungroup all these, and then we're going to get rid of the audio track. And then we're going to find the point to where we're actually landing. Let's say right about here. We'll go ahead and clip out this first part because we don't need it. And then delete it, then right click and then go to remove space. So now let's do a fade in on this. since the other clip already has a fade in as well, and it's fairly short duration. So now let's scrub through and see we're landing. And we'll go ahead and clip it here. Delete this last part. So now we're looking at about what, 5, 10, 15, about 20 seconds worth, give or take. So let's add another title clip. The landing. We'll just call it the landing. Hit create clip, and then bring it down here, stick it kind of here in the middle, give or take, right about there. And then we need to go ahead and move it because it's sort of off center. So right click, insert an effect, go to transform, and then drag it down here. Maybe a little bit more in the middle, right about there. All right, so let's test it out. And looks pretty good so far. All right, so let's go ahead and do the deboarding of the plane. I think I have something here, clip. Arrival almost there, offboarding. Number 2, that's 9 seconds long. So we'll go in here, we'll right click. We will ungroup the clips. We'll get rid of the audio track. And this is vertical because it's shot with an iPhone. Let's transform this. Let's see how this looks if we blow it up some. So let's increase the size. I think that's okay. Let's do a fade in on this one. Let's check it out, see how it looks. And I think we can go ahead and clip this one shorter. So let's clip it right about here. And let's get rid of this. Let's add a title clip, and we'll call this Offboarding the Plane. And we'll drag this over here, kind of put it in the center a little bit. And I think the white, that might lower this down a little bit because I think the white in the guy's shirt is sort of bleeding through the letters. So let's go to Insert Effect, Transform. Let's bring this down here to right about there. Let's give it a test look. Fade into it. And there's our lettering, our title. All right, good. Now let's do en route to the site. Here we go. To the site.mov. This is quite long, so we're going to trim this down quite a bit. Let's do the usual, ungroup the clips and get rid of the audio. Let's scrub this down a little bit and see where do I want to cut this. Oh, the windmills look cool. So let's cut it right about here. And we'll delete this first part of the clip, and then we'll remove space. So let's do a fade in on this one as well. Now we're going to fade in. And let's go ahead and clip it right here. That looks pretty good. Get rid of this. Now we have a vertical again because of the iPhone and my inexperience with shooting video with iPhones. We zoom in, does it take away from the overall scene? I don't think it does. Let's go back and test it. I think it looks okay. All right. Now we've arrived at our destination. So where's the arrival clip? Oh, actually, let's put a title clip in here. Let's say add title clip. Let's say heading to the sanctuary. Sanctuary. Hope that's spelled right because I can't spell. Put this right about here. And we're going to insert an effect, transform. Let's drag this down to the tree line so we can see the lettering. Now you can change the lettering. So if you come into here, you can go to edit clip, and you can highlight your text and come over here and you can change the coloring of your clip or your lettering if you want. I'm just gonna leave it as white for now. And then you would click update click. You can change it to bold, italicize it, you can underline it. So there's a lot of features in here that you can use to manipulate the actual text. All right, so let's check this out and see how it looks. We offboarded the plane, and now we're heading to the sanctuary. All right, so I think we can do a fade out on this because that's kind of a longer clip. So now we've made it to the sanctuary, so let's show what we have. Let's do roaming cats 1. See how that looks. Drag this down here. Let's get rid of the audio track. And since we've faded in or faded out, we don't have to worry about doing a fade in. Actually, you know what? Let's pause this. Let's go ahead and delete this. Delete selected item. And let's do the arrival clip. Let's ungroup the clips, get rid of the audio. Now, one thing you might want to do periodically is save your progress. So you want to come up to File, go down to Save, and then we'll call it Trip to Sanctuary. And then save it wherever you want. I keep mine in my videos directory, and then just hit Save. This will save the progress. So if Kdenlive crashes or your power goes out, you restart the software. You will come up here to File, go to Open Recent, and then there it is. I'll click on that, and it'll repopulate all of the work, all the progress that you've done so far. All right, so let's see. So we've arrived at the site. I don't think we're going to be able to zoom this in any way. So what can we do to kind of dress up this? I have an idea. So we'll go back to our directory, come down to videos, content creation in progress, captured media, go to photos. So let's throw a couple of photos in here. Let's grab this one and this one. And we'll go ahead and minimize our directory. So now we're going to add some tracks, some video tracks up top. So you just come over here to where your track starts, right click on it, go to insert track, and let's insert 3. So now we have 3 additional tracks that we can use to add additional content. So we're going to grab this first one here, put it here, and then we're going to extend the length, the duration of the clip by simply grabbing on the far right side of the border and dragging it over to where we want it. All right, so let's go ahead and format that. Insert an effect, go to transform, grab the corner over here, the red outline, and then you can resize it. So we'll put that over here. It's a little bit too tall to do kind of what I was thinking, but that's fine. Then we'll do grab the other image, drag it over here, put it on top, and again extend the duration out to match the duration of the actual clip itself. We'll right click on it, go to insert effect, go to transform, resize this one as well, put it over here. All right, and we got 2 other photos. Again, the same process, drag and drop down into your video track, and then extend out the duration. Right click on it, go to transform, resize, and let's drag it over here. Might be able to adjust the size a little bit more to make it somewhat uniform. I think that looks pretty good. And then our last tract, again, same process, insert effect, transform. Let's resize. And right about there. So we'll click on the original tract. All right, now let's see how it looks without any further editing. So we're going to fade into it. And there's our cat meowing. So I think that looks okay. All right, so let's do a fade in on these photos. Let's see how that looks. Okay, I think it looks okay. All right, great. Now let's add one more track. Insert track. We'll add one above. And let's add another title clip. We're going to say, made it. And we're going to drag that, put it over top, right about here in the middle. Drag our timeline over a little bit. All right, we're going to need to format this. So transform, let's put this down here. Okay, so the white lettering is sort of blending in with the background. So in this case, let's go ahead and edit the clip. And then we're going to highlight the text. Let's make it yellow, make it a little easier to see, or orange. See how that looks. Nope, that's even worse. Maybe yellow. Oh, that's hard to see too. I guess we'll leave it at white. Back to edit clip. And let's make it white, I guess. Maybe we can put it up here. Not sure where to put it. Maybe right about there. All right, let's go ahead and save. Let's give a little test run. Okay, so we've done that. Now let's go ahead and add the roaming cats 1. So we'll go ahead and put this in here. And if you hold shift and scroll up or down or with your mouse wheel, you can, rather than having to grab the scroll over here, just hold shift and then you can scroll up or down. Let's get rid of the audio clip, the audio track. Now let's scrub this out. Let's do a fade in on this. So let's clip this right about here. Oh, we didn't need to fade in because we were going to clip that out anyway. So now we can do a fade in. And we can clip this right here. Save some time. Get rid of this. Now let's do roaming cats 2. And let's go ahead and ungroup the clips, get rid of the audio track. And instead of doing a fade, let's just let it cut directly to the next clip. There we go. I think that looks okay. Let it play for a little bit. And we can go ahead and clip it here just to cut a little bit of time. All right, so now we're going to do the vertical vertical cats 1 and vertical cats 2. So let's put vertical cats 1 in here. Unclip. Or ungroup the clips. Let's get rid of the audio track. And let's go ahead and scrub this one a little bit. So I don't want to send my leg in there, so let's go ahead and cut it past that point. Get rid of this first part, drag over. Now we can scrub through and see what we got. All right, not too bad. So let's grab vertical number 2. And let's ungroup them. Or, sorry, we'll get rid of the audio track. So let's go back to let's go to this clip here. Let's go to insert an effect, go to transform. Let's move this one over. And let's insert an effect on the original clip and move that one over as well. Go back here, kind of put them together a little bit. All right, so let's scrub through the top one, the top clip. And I think we can trim this here so they're evenly matched. Get rid of this additional clip on that part. That one just a little bit too long. Let me clip it right there. Make them nice and even. No, it's still not even. All right, so we can fade this one. We can fade them both in. Let's see how this looks. So we'll go back a little ways and hit play on our project monitor. And so far, so good. It's about a 3-minute video clip. All right, let's do a fade out on both of those. Let's go ahead and do a save. All right, so now we have our entire clip. Let's go ahead and start from the very start and watch the whole thing through. It's about 3 minutes. Let's see what we've got. So we're trying to pack. And now we're on the way to the airport. And we're boarding the plane. Now we're taking off. And up we go, up, up and away. And we're almost there. We'll add a little music here in a second. I just want to do a quick watch through to make sure everything looks okay. Now we're landing. Deboarding the plane. We're headed to the sanctuary. And we arrived. So when we do the render, it's not going to be this laggy, sluggish. I think it's because I shot it in 4K and I should have just stuck with 1080p. Visiting all the friendly cats. And the 2 vertical video files captured with the iPhone. Everything was captured with an iPhone, by the way. All right, so let's add a little music to this. So in order to do that, we're going to open up a web browser. I'm going to drag it down here. So we want to go to, I have an account with epicsound.com. So let's kind of go through and see what we've got. So with epicsound.com, you pay a monthly subscription and you have access to all types of different music, sound effects, and that you can incorporate into your video without getting hit with a copyright strike. So let's see what we've got. In fact, I use this for all of my videos that I have music in the background. Actually kind of like this. All right, so let's go ahead and download this. Full mix. Go ahead and minimize our web browser. Let's go to our file directory, file manager, go to downloads. I'm going to copy this. All right, sorry, I'm going to cut this out and put it in my music folder for background music for content. This is chill, so put it in here. Let's go ahead and drag this over to our project bin. Minimize this. Let's go back to the very start of our video and let's drag this down here. We'll do a fade in. And let's see how it sounds. All right, so I think that was a pretty good selection of music, but you can see we ran short, so let's go back to the web page. And what else do we have here? I think that one sounds pretty good, so let's grab that one. We'll download it. And then go minimize our web page or web browser, and then go back to our directory, back to downloads. Go ahead and grab this and put it in the proper place so we don't have to look for it later. Another chill clip. All right, so let's grab this and bring it down to our audio track. Now with this, you can make adjustments with your volume by simply clicking on audio, and now you can, we're on channel 1 and channel 2. Channel 2 is not being used right now, but channel 1 is. So we can adjust the volume up or down, however you want. I'm gonna leave it at about -10. All right, so how do we wrap up the clip? What do we need to put over here? So let me think about this for a moment, because I did not think this part through when I first put this together. All right, so I think we can wrap the video up by doing a screen capture of the actual website for the shelter itself. So we'll come into here, and then we're going to go to applications. Ah, there it is. Okay. So I'm going to, this is one of the apps that we downloaded earlier previously in the video. So I like this particular app because it allows me to do a window, a section, or the entire screen. We're going to do a section. We're going to hit click screenshot. And let's just grab that. And we can go ahead and save that to wherever we want. I'm going to put it in other. Let's go to photos. Actually, let's go to, yeah, photos. We're just going to leave it in the photos. Open it up, and we're going to call this shelter main page. And save it. We can go ahead and minimize this. Now we can go into our photos directory, and there it is. So drag and drop it over into our project bin. Minimize that. Drag this over here. All right, so this is about 5 seconds long, I believe. So we can add a few title clips. Let's just say thanks for watching. And we'll drag this and put it on top. And let's go ahead and insert an effect. Let's transform. Let's move this down here. And let's add a shape. Let's put an arrow up to the donate button up here at the top. So let's go to our files, and let's go to our pictures. We want to go to content creation, go to shapes. We have an arrow, so let's drag the arrow over and drop it in here. Put this on top. Let's insert an effect, transform. Let's do the rotation on it. Swing it around. And let's adjust the size a little bit. All right. Now let's do a fade in and a fade out. And as for our music, we're going to go ahead and trim this down. So grab your razor, come on down here, stop the video, or the end of the video. Go ahead and delete out this rest of this audio track. Let's do a fade out on that. And let's see how it looks. All right, so that wraps it up. So we'll go ahead and render this now. So come up where it says project, go down to render, And then let's give it a name. First let's change it to H265. And now we're going to go ahead and change the format to MP4 H265. And it's already named since we saved it originally. So you don't have to worry about changing the name, but you can to whatever you want. I'm going to crank the quality up, and I'm going to change I'm going to rescale it to 1080p. And then hit render. This is going to save it to our videos directory. All right, it's going to take about 14 minutes to render, and I'll be back. All right, so we have finished our rendering, so we can go ahead and close this out. And let's go to our videos directory, and there is our MP4. So let's go ahead and open it up. VLC. So they look pretty good, actually. Anyway, so that concludes the editing portion of it, and pretty much wraps up the video. So I hope this content has helped you. I hope it has shown you that editing in Linux is a very viable option to the alternatives, and it can be done and be done quite well. And this is just Kdenlive. So DaVinci Resolve works on Linux as well. There are other editing platforms that you can use. But I just wanted to demonstrate how I make videos currently. You know, I am still a fairly new content creator. I've been doing this for a little while now, but I'm still learning as I go. I'm learning every day, actually. something new, new functions and features with Kdenlive with OBS. And I just want to take a few moments, or actually well over an hour now, to just sort of share with you what I do and to show you again that it can be done in Linux and be done quite well. So I hope this video helped. If it did, please consider subscribing for more content. And depending on how well this video does, if this video does really well, I may go ahead and do some more videos on how to set up and configure your Elgato to do console captures, and go into some more of the features of OBS and Kdenlive, a little more in depth than what I did with this video. Again, so thanks for watching, and stay safe out there, and I hope to see you in the next video.